Welcome to another breakdown looking at 2015-16 offensive previews. We're going to look at the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics are one of my favorite teams to watch, mainly because of Brad Stevens. He's one of my favorite coaches in the NBA. I think he's a top 5 coach, offense and defense. He is very, very skilled, great after timeouts, very good end of game, special situations. He's always good at getting his teams to play better than they actually are, or better than that people are thinking they're supposed to play. Even going back to his days at Butler, he always had teams that overperformed expectations. Hasn't really had a lot of talent in Boston to work with, so a lot of people don't necessarily consider him a great coach because he doesn't win a lot of games. But I think that's going to start changing now that he's got some players he can work with. Isaiah Thomas, David Lee, players like that are going to be beneficial to his coaching style because he can design sets to their strengths, and that's one of his best parts. You know, his sets are creative, his sets are inventive, he's very technical, he'll pay attention to little details and figure out, you know, where a player should be and figure out how he can run the best sets for certain types of players and things of that nature. I'm going to try not to overwhelm and put a lot of stuff into this breakdown. Just because I have broken down his whole playbook, his whole video playbook, and I'm a huge fan of it, but I don't want to take up too much time and overwhelm people with too much information. So I'm just going to show some of my favorite sets or some of the more common actions that he used, and we'll get into it. Before we get started too much into the Boston Celtics breakdown, I just want to touch on a subject that a couple people on Twitter have asked me about. Some of my play calls or my terminology that I used. There's a couple different ways that I do it. Each coach will be different. I label plays based on the terminology that I've used or learned from other coaches and that I can use to kind of put it in my memory. So if I know like a certain action, like a guard screening down for a big is called ram into a ball screen. So I know that action is called ram. So I can just automatically associate that with that one movement. And different things, can be based off of what I've heard other coaches call it, essentially, like at the college level or pro level. You'll see in the beginning of this video right here, the first play call here is Indy Rip. And the reason I know that is because you can see Brad Stevens mouthing off Indy Rip here at the beginning of the set on the broadcast that I was able to pick up. So as you're watching games from a coaching standpoint, pay attention to what the coaches do. If they, the other day I saw Quinn Snyder from the Utah Jazz. He did elbow 25, and it was a elbow ball screen with the 5-man at the elbow and the 2-guard handling the ball. So it's elbow 25. That's what he called out, and that's what they ran. So it's pretty interesting to see what coaches run and what they call their plays, and each coach has their own individual terminologies and own play calling. But that's something to keep an eye out, and that's how I label my plays. I do have a terminology list that I can get out to you. I know someone asked me that on Twitter. I can't remember who, but I'm going to try to get back to people on Twitter if they want. If you guys want that information, just hit me up on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. I'll be glad to share that with you. So the first set here is Indy Rip. That's what we're going to look at. And it starts off with a dribble handoff. So the guard is just going to dribble. The 4-man is going to come off the handoff. 5-man is going to set a back screen. They got a couple different options out of this action. So the first option is for the guard to fake the down screen and pop off for a shot. If the shot is not open, then the guard will look to get a step-up ball screen from the 5-man, and we'll show you that action coming up. But basically, after the handoff, the guard comes off the down screen, comes back off the rescreen, and then this big here can step up into a ball screen and have the guard attack off of it. If the guard continues off of the down screen, he just comes and sets a flex screen for the guard over here, and then it's screen-to-screener action, him coming off a down screen from the 4-man after he passes the ball to the 5. Next set we have is San Antonio Spurs loop set. So you'll see the guard is going to cut off a little zipper screen here. This guard is going to dribble down into it, pass to him, and then cut off a triple screen from these three players all the way to the other side. What I love about what Brad Stevens does with this set is he always has the player who's cutting off the triple screen. So in this case, it's Isaiah Thomas. He's always moving towards his strong hand into the pick and roll. So the first big who sets that first screen on the loop is going to follow into the other side and set a ball screen for that first guard. So in this case, Jared Sullinger, first screener, he's going to sprint out and set a ball screen for Isaiah Thomas, who's left-handed, rejects it, but is able to attack to his left hand first. The strong hand become more comfortable. So here you have Marcus Smart, who's right-handed, so they just reverse it. So Kelly Olynyk's going to follow into a ball screen here, and he's going to attack off his right hand. The Boston Celtics early offense or transition series is just based off of this step ball screen. So the first big down the floor, in this case, is Tyler Zeller. He's going to step up here and set a wing ball screen and then dive straight to the rim. This guard's going to come here and attack off of it towards the wing. And this big is going to fill towards the top of the key and be available for a pass. And what this is going to do is force the defense to guard the... you're not going away. There we go. It's going to force the defense to guard this guard coming off the ball screen here. So this big is going to dive in. It's going to force them to guard pretty much at all times what they're looking to do, and then they flow into a pin down into a dribble handoff. So it's just a step ball screen. That big dives, big stays at the top of the key, and it's just a foul into a ball screen, dribble handoff into a ball screen, all kind of reads. They can go backdoor cut off of it. Here they trail and comes off a little double screen into a handoff. Not really a design play call, more or less reading the defense and playing off. This set here is called stack. I've also heard it called tandem. Basically, you have a guard and a big in a stack lineup. They're usually in line with each other, like a stack. And then this guard's going to cut off it. Sometimes the big steps up here and then curls around the guard. But essentially what happens is this guard cuts off it. This big is going to step up, dive down. This guard is going to split, and it really gives the defense fits. This is a pretty common set now in today's NBA. So in that case, you see they split with the guard cut into the basket. The New Orleans Pelicans ran it last year with Monty Williams. It was a very, very effective set. Clippers picked it up. Cavs ran it in the finals. Warriors ran it in the finals. Became a very common set in last year's NBA season. I think teams will run it a lot more. The Celtics here against the Nets ran it 5 straight possessions, as you can see, and scored off every single one with different variations. But because they have Kelly Olynyk, who can shoot from outside, it's a very, very effective set because you have to guard Kelly Olynyk popping, you have to guard Kelly Olynyk rolling, you have to guard Marcus Smart rolling, Marcus Smart popping. Marcus Smart's not a great shooter, but he's still effective enough to draw the defense and prevent them from providing easy help. I hope the Cavs, run this. Teams with good stretch fours. Next up is Brad Stevens' 2-for-1 set. So you can see 34 seconds left in the second quarter. Looking to get a quick shot 2-for-1 action. You'll just see it's a quick dribble handoff to the 4-man. This is Indy 4. So it's same set as Indy Rip, just without the actual rip, which is back screen action. So you see just quick dribble handoff at the end of quarters here. Looking to get a quick score. Here they run it just a regular set. Zach Randolph isn't really used to guarding outside the paint, so they try to take advantage of that. But with teams that have good stretch fours, like the Celtics had Kelly Olynyk and he's a decent, outside shooter. This set is also designed at the end of halves or at the end of games to allow a guard to attack. It's just a simple double stagger that a 2-guard, in this case Avery Bradley, will cut off of. But what happens is this guard just kind of stays out here and spaces the floor. These bigs are occupied. His defender's occupied. And it's almost like a one-on-one situation where Evan Turner just kind of creates and attacks and goes on his own. But he has the option to pass off of the double stagger screen. So here you see him come off the double stagger screen and get a shot. But more often than not, later in games or at the end of halves, you'll see the point guard just kind of look to go, quickly off the off the dribble, look to get a quick score. They ran it late in the game with Evan Turner one time, got to the rim and ended up hitting a game winner off this set. So there's little things like that you can notice where it may just be decoy action that he's setting up the stagger screen for, Isaiah Thomas to attack off the dribble, or, Phil Pressey to attack off the dribble, whoever, he thinks has the advantage. This is one of the better baseline out of bounds sets that I saw all year. It was pretty effective for weak side action. Might not work too well in like the lower levels of high school, but in college and the NBA, it definitely works. He called this two curl open, was the name of the set when I saw him call it out for one of the players. What is going to happen is you're going to see Tyler Zeller or whoever you want to shoot the shot is going to set a screen out here for the guard in the corner. The guard in the corner is going to come off it and cut hard to the rim, looking to get the ball. That's just a decoy action. All that's going to happen is Tyler Zeller is going to open up right here on the baseline. Pass is going to go along the baseline, and it'll be open every single time. It was one of my favorite baseline out of bounds sets, and I really enjoyed it. Now we're on to Brad Stevens' end of game sets. I'm a huge fan of his end of game sets, and I don't normally show or describe each one in particular because a lot of it is special situations. But I do want to show this one. It's a really good end of game set if you're looking to get a 3-point shot or need a 3-point look. What you're going to see is a cross screen for Jeff Green. He's going to cut underneath to the opposite side of the basket. The person you want to shoot the ball, the guard or forward, whoever you want to shoot the ball, is in this position right here. He's going to walk up the floor. Kelly Olynyk's going to pass it over the top to Jeff Green. And then I'll show you what's going to happen when he receives the pass. So you see the cross screen. They throw it to Jeff Green. As soon as that happens, this big is going to set a quick little flare screen for Avery Bradley, or the shooter, to cut over here, and it's just a straight pass to get a quick 3-point shot off the flare screen. That's going to do it for my Brad Stevens Boston Celtics 2015-16 offensive preview. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun looking at some more of his sets in depth. I think Brad Stevens is an excellent coach. I look forward to seeing what he does with this year's team and some of the new stuff he puts in. If you guys got any questions or comments or anything, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at HalfCourtHoops. Drop them on the video. Let me know what's going on. Thanks.